Hi, YouTube. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards. Happy New Year. Um, I'll remind you now, and then I'll remind you in the end that I will be back again in a different room in my house um, later on at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific to do personal readings. So if you have a question, come at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Uh, if you're somewhere else, just do the math, and I'll be doing live readings. If you'd like a longer reading with me, go to my website. The information is right under the video for how to do that. I'm booked for January, booked solid, but after January. Okay. All right. So, few things I wanted to read on today. Um, Before I do your personal readings later on. I wanted to look at I wanted to talk about Jimmy Carter for a minute. As you can see from the white in my hair, I am old enough to have been an adult when Jimmy Carter was president, and he was a good and a great man. I will say that he evolved. He ran for governor of Georgia in, I think, 66, something like that, and lost. So he ran again. And in that election, he sort of decided that he would sort of make a case for himself that was attractive to white Southerners. And he won with 60% of the vote. To his credit, as soon as he got into office, he changed that tune and became, quite a staunch defender of African American rights. I guess the point is, it's never too late to turn over a new leaf. Uh, I mean, even George Wallace turned over a new leaf, and granted, it took a bullet in his spine. But once that happened, he did sing a very different tune in his words on race. So, um, I'm glad that Jimmy Carter saw the light and evolved to become the great statesman that he was. Um, and he was an example, I think, to all of us. I've seen readers call him in. Uh, I mean, can the man rest? He's not even buried. And you see people online in my line of work summoning him for advice about what's coming in next. Uh, I'm just going to, I'm not going to ask him any specific questions. The question that I'm going to ask is if he has a message for us that he would like to communicate through me. I'm happy to do that. So cards are shuffled with him in mind, and let's see if he has anything to say. We'll let him pick all the cards. So I think that there is a message, and I think it's very short to the point. We have the ring, we have the key, we have the house, we have the cross, and we have the tree. And I think that the message is, of course, about the country, because, what else would he want to talk to me about? Um, it's about the continuity of our nation, right? The survival of our nation, the health of our nation. These are the first and the last cards. So I can mirror that. The message is about the continuity of our country, the health of our country. Center card is, the body politic, right? So you could argue it's the presidency, it's the Senate, it's the House, it's the electorate, it's all of that. It's the body politic. And he's saying that the answer to our continued existence and our improved health involves some sacrifice and some hardship. So this is no, hearts and flowers message. He's asking us to do the hard work, the hard and painful work of reckoning with who we really are and deciding who it is we want to become. So thank you, and rest in peace and power. And that's it for him, from me. Okay. I have another political question that I thought would be worth looking at because it's going to kind of come up on us sort of fast, which is that um, there will be a vote for House Speaker coming up January 3rd. So, it's coming up quick. We know that 45 has had there's no love lost, we'll call it, between him and between 45 and Johnson. However, we know that 45 did a post on his whatever Truth Social, whatever his network is, um, which was an endorsement. It was a pretty tepid, I would say, endorsement. Um, So I guess the question is, how will Johnson fare in this election for speaker? Excuse me. Will he keep his position as speaker? So I'm going to use, he's not that old. We'll use the younger man. He doesn't warrant that lovely card, but we're going to use the younger man for him because he's not old. And let's see what's around him in regard to this January 3rd vote. Okay. Here he is. Two cards that come before him and the two cards after him. Ooh, okay, interesting. So we have the Tower, my Scales card. This is Mike Johnson. This is the Sun, and then the Snake. You know what? Um, I'm going to draw a clarifier or two on the snake. Remember, in this situation, in this context, the snake is a problem. Mm. All right. So here, this is government, stands for government, and I can mirror it with that snake, that last card. Now, I don't love Mike Johnson any more than the rest of my viewers probably love Mike Johnson. But it will be a problem for the entire country if there is a fight over the speakership. Things can't proceed. Things like what? Oh, I don't know, like the certification of an election, um, the passing of a budget. There are things that can't happen when there's no speaker. So this is a problem for government writ large. Okay. Uh, uh, everything hangs in the balance, I feel like. A scales card is never absolutely still. I mean, the card is still, but a scale itself is never absolutely still. It's always going like this, back and forth to balance itself. So there are things in the balance here. And I can mirror that with the sun. Now, the sun is a great card. They say it's the best card in the deck. But sure, you think of warmth, you think of summertime, all that, but it's also light and heat. And Johnson is facing a lot of light and heat. There are people in his own party who feel that he's been too um, uh, accommodating, we'll call it, to Democrats. Can you imagine? He's not right enough. He's not Trumpy enough. So, and as Hakeem Jeffries said, um, the Democrats are not interested in saving his speakership. That's not their job. So I'm sure he's doing a lot of behind the scenes politicking, twisting of arms, dangling of carrots, etc., in order to get everybody on his side on side, because he cannot afford to lose more than a single vote. That's how narrow the margin is for him. So I I pulled some clarifiers on this snake, which are pretty unsatisfactory clarifiers. We have the garden, we have the fish, we have the book. So we are now, this is the public, this is the problem. Uh, this is the public. This is the emotion. I mean, we are just sort of galloping into this new year already stressed out because we don't know what the outcome will be. Now, you know how it goes. I mean, you've seen this before. We've seen it many times where they'll have a vote and maybe Johnson does not win on the first ballot. Maybe he wins on the second ballot or the third ballot, or maybe he doesn't win at all because the book is about things we don't know. So here's what I can unequivocally say. Johnson's speakership is not guaranteed to hold. He does not have it in the bag. No. Uh, so, if you have not bought your popcorn yet, we bought ours yesterday. If you have not bought your popcorn yet, you may want to go to the store because I think this could be quite the process. We already see the cannibalization that I talked about, I think, last time. We're going to see it again differently in this House vote. Hmm, interesting. Okay. Another thing I wanted to look at is, okay, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not Biden, who's, handed out pardons to different people, will pardon 45. First of all, why? Like, for what? Now, I have seen readers on the internet, people who do my work, my kind of work, say that there could be a quid pro quo, meaning that's a Latin expression, meaning if you do this, you get that, right? One hand washes the other, quid pro quo. Well, the quid pro quo, some people who do my line of work say, would be that that Biden will pardon 45 on the condition that he does not take office. Well, in what universe is that going to happen? Definitely an alternate one. He's not going to accept that because, first of all, he doesn't think he deserves to be pardoned. I mean, that he needs to be pardoned for anything. He'll say he didn't do anything wrong. A pardon implies pretty specifically, right, that you did the thing and you're being excused from having done the thing, excused from any kind of punishment or consequence. 45's not going to go for that. But let me just say, Biden is not going to go for that. But listen to this. Uh, the South Carolina representative, Jim Clyburn, he's the one who delivers always the Southern Democrats for whoever the Democratic nominee is, you know? Well, like he delivered the South for Biden. He says he thinks Biden should pardon 45, as does kind of shady, what's his name? Uh, John Fetterman from Pennsylvania. Fetterman has been uh, sounding like, I don't know, quite he's sounding very 45 friendly lately. I'll just say that. I don't know what that's about. But the two of them say that they think Biden should pardon 45. Now, their argument is, for the healing of the country. That's not going to do it. Just saying. So, yeah. But the question is, what does Biden think about pardoning 45? Um, let's see. What do I want to use for pardon? You know what we'll do? We'll use the bouquet. The bouquet is like a gift, which God knows a pardon would be, a reward, but you only get a reward for having done something, like stepping down and not being the president. That's not going to happen. But anyway, we'll use the bouquet to stand for a pardon. And I'm asking the question, what does Biden think about that? Okay, so we're looking. Oh, look, I looked at the bottom of the deck just to make sure the card wasn't there, and the card is there. That means it's the last card. So watch what I do. It's the last card. That means that the ones that come before. Okay. So interesting. We have crossroads, scythe, snake, key, bouquet. And remember, we're asking the question, what does Biden think about pardoning Trump? Uh, this would certainly be an alternate route. And, I mean, a different way of doing things. I can mirror these two together. Uh, the scythe is about a decision. And the thing is, the card that I can mirror this with is key. Now, here's the thing. In the middle, our not that friendly card, the snake. This is problematic. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, broadly speaking, will Biden pardon Trump? No, unless there are things going on backstage that we can't see that would involve exactly what I said before. Like, in other words, you don't get rewarded for not doing anything. Like, why would you just throw him a pardon for what? But if complications about his election, we'll just say, have been brought to light, like it was interfered with, that he's responsible for a lot of the interference, etc., making his presidency essentially illegitimate, which would be uncovered in time. If Biden said to him, listen, if you just go quietly, I'll give you a pardon. I mean, that's the only circumstance that I can see Biden giving him a pardon, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to say, unless there are circumstances that we all hear about where 45's in serious trouble for how he rigged the election, short of that, if we don't hear anything like that, there will be no pardon. Because for what? For what? To make his side happier than they already are, right? I mean, they already stole the election. Why would you give them the cherry on top, the icing on the cake? Why would you do that? I don't think Biden would, unless it meant that 45 would cede the presidency. Speaking of, I do watch what other readers do, not a lot of them, but there's some really good people out there. And I mean, I guess I am the voice in the wilderness out here, saying, no, I'm pretty sure that 45 will be the one um, being inaugurated. Now, it's true that the inauguration could be delayed if the House can't come to a decision about who their speaker is. That would delay it. But I've heard some really reputable readers continue to say that this Deus ex machina thing is going to happen, and that Kamala Harris will assume her rightful place behind the Resolute desk. Um, let's look at it one more time. Okay. So, who will be inaugurated on or around January 20th? I'm going to draw three cards for Harris and three cards for 45. Okay, so these are for Harris, and these are for 45. Okay, gotta say, it's interesting, right? Harris, I have the coffin, the garden, and the sun. If I were a glass half full person on this issue, I mean, I generally am a glass half full person, but if I were a glass half full person on this issue, I would say this is the card for transformation. This is the card for the people, and that the sun should indeed here be understood as the positive outcome. These cards look very positive for her. So I guess that explains why readers are seeing what they're seeing. I'm not sure. However, look at the cards for 45. We have the key. I always say the key is the fraternal twin of the sun. It's that good of a card. So they're sort of evenly matched here. His second card, though, is the mountain, which says that the inauguration could be delayed. And again, for any number of reasons, like, for example, that the House can't pick a speaker, right? Like, for example, something comes to light about the election and 45's role in uh, skewing it, we'll call it. And then for his final card is our scales card. One of the meanings, of course, of a scale is justice. So, I always say energy is mutable. If I were watching me, I don't know, I feel like I'd be annoyed. Because, I mean, Erica, what are you saying? I pull these cards in real time so that you can see, this is not a rigged game. But I will say, energy is mutable. Anything can happen. Um, I think 45 will be, the Erica part of me thinks that 45 will be inaugurated on or around the 20th. The spirit-driven part of me looks at these cards. Again, these are her cards, and these are his cards. I mean, what looks better to you? Her cards look better. Her cards look better. If there is a delay, for any reason, her odds increase. So we'll know more as early as the third. You know, if we're up all night watching them, you know, fight each other and cannibalize each other as they vie for their side to win the speakership, or just, the whatever they decide to do about that speakership. The longer that fight goes, the harder it is for 45. Um, Anything can happen. Sorry if that's not definitive enough. Surprisingly not definitive, I have to say. Uh, yeah, I myself am surprised. Um, finally, I wanted to read a poem because, you will see me later today, but you won't see me tomorrow. And I thought this is a good day to read this poem. This is Amanda Gorman's new poem. It's called New Day's Lyric, and it's for New Year's, for the year that we're going into. So, of course, you can find her online reading it, and she obviously does it way better than I. But for those of you who are here, let me just read it. May this be the day we come together. Mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been ready by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. The hope is our door, our portal, even if we never get back to normal. Someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach towards what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make, the moments we meet, and our hearts, once altogether beaten, now altogether beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts we hear it. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. Be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. Isn't that beautiful? Amanda Gorman's just a gift to us. You all have been a gift to me. I wish you a happy new year. I hope to see you at 4 o'clock Pacific for a reading. I am just very, very grateful for all of you and the way that this community has grown. I look forward to being with you in the coming year as we weather these crazy ups and downs. And I wish you a peaceful, healthy, blessed new year. Take care.